Welcome everyone to USA Crypto Group. Excited to have Owners Unity back today for this amazing AMA session. Owners Unity is set out to revolutionize the way the world purchases real estate. With that, I'd like to welcome Tyson from Owners Unity. Great to have you back, brother. If you can start out introducing yourself, talk about your background, your position in the team, and as well as your core team members.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate being here again, and obviously being from the U.S., it's nice to do a couple AMAs in the States. But yeah, my role is an advisor on the team. I am a real estate agent in the Midwest, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas area. I've been doing it for several years now. I was in sales before that, but a little bit before COVID and stuff like that, kind of, and family stuff chose me to kind of take a new role. My experience as far as crypto goes is mostly, based on, I was, one of many others who saw what Bitcoin was doing, and I wouldn't say I scoffed at it, but just kind of saw it and was like, okay, how much is that really gonna change things? And then you see the price go up, and then you see it go down, and it's like, oh, now's not the time to invest into it. That thing's done. And then, obviously we are where we are today. And so kind of first started out, I was kind of one of the people that first got introduced or kind of into crypto during the old Robinhood days of buying Doge. I fortunately was kind of an early buy into it, and then that kind of set me down the motion of starting to look into other things, obviously, as that climbed, and other projects like XRP and stuff like that started to build. And then, of course, names we all know like SafeMoon and stuff like that. You start to kind of dabble. I've been part of rug pulls. I've been part of, some successful ones. I've kind of seen every aspect of it. And so I initially started without as an investor to start. We were, me and a few of the other, one Lawgiver, I don't know if you remember him from the last AMA. He and I were kind of in the same Discord group, and we got into some chat that had, he had heard of Owners Unity when it was first starting off. I think it was very small TG group, and me being in the real estate business, he brought it to me and said, hey, we should check this out. Kind of got in, started talking to the guys in the TG. Since we have a group of DeFi physics lab guys that, kind of all chat and stuff like that. We set up our own Discord. We thought, hey, perfect time to set up a Discord for Owners Unity. So we kind of got in really close with Scott and Paul and started talking with them, and it just became a good fit with my background, with what Owners Unity wanted to do and kind of moving forward. So came in as an advisor on the real estate side, and obviously with some, technical side with the Discord and just crypto in general. And here we are. And so, first of all, we have Scott, who should be here sometime soon. I don't know, you guys don't have the website pulled up, but he's a CEO, he's co-founder with Saul, who's in Australia. So I think he's probably just about to wake up. Scott may have fallen asleep, or he'll be here in a few minutes. But so those two guys, kind of the background on them. Scott is, he worked in construction for many, many years. He now has his own consulting company. So he knows a lot about the housing market, building, and that's, as we can get to later, is kind of one of the end goals is kind of property development. But they had an idea, 8 or 10 years ago, where they wanted to try and do this type of a project, but the more and more they got into it, it kind of buried down to the fact that you needed these, large investors, which then kind of turned you, into something that was, held by someone else kind of greater in the space. And they really wanted to develop something that could be, for, if you want to call it, for the people, bringing, kind of the human aspect into crypto a little bit more. And so when crypto kind of started to develop, and, blockchain and obviously the BSC and stuff like that started to, kind of take its own life, this is kind of the avenue that they felt was the best to really be able to start a business, start a company, but, really have, everyday people like myself and others, be a part of something that is truly trying to give back and truly trying to, change the space, change the market. And frankly, with what we see, today with the housing markets and interest rates and everything else, with interest rates going up to where they are, it really is going to even more start to, position people outside where they aren't able to afford their first home, or just to afford a home in general, just because of the fact that they'll either be denied, or with the interest rates and down payments that are needed, they are just not going to be able to, withstand kind of everything. And especially with banks, even though they've gone away from variable interest rates, they're still out there. They're still taking advantage of people. And with interest rates changing, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be hurting here soon. So that's a little bit of a backstory on Owner's Unity and myself.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction, Tyson. And I do see Lawgiver just came in as well. But here, Tyson, if you're not speaking, if you can go ahead and mute your mic so that way I don't hear myself, that'd be great. Thanks. All right, sounds great. Yeah, looks like, looking at your team, you guys do have a vast experience in the space, crypto, not only crypto, but also in real life as well. So I think you guys have assembled a great team. You guys have one of those concepts where I really wanted to succeed. I think, the blockchain, this is what the blockchain is meant to be, right? Tying the crypto space into the real world. Unfortunately, we're in the space, with a bunch of just cookie cutters, tokens, and projects that people may not be familiar with the concept, right? Or do not take the time to really look into it. But I love this concept. This is actually a real use case that's being applied to real life. And you guys are setting out to, revolutionize the way the world purchases real estate, which is a big statement. So with that said, there's Tyson, right? So obviously you guys did see some problems, with the traditional ways. You guys pretty much trying to provide affordable housing through the blockchain, through cryptocurrency. Can you speak on what are the things that you guys see, or what are the problems you guys see right now, and why are you guys setting out to do this, and how are you guys going to do it better?
Yeah, can I jump in?
There he is.
Oh, the big boss is here.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Sorry about that. Yeah, 2:00 here, so it took me a couple of seconds to get my head together. But yeah, the concept, like Tyson explained perfectly, there's some issues with regards to how the system is structured, or do you mean issues with regards to how we're progressing as a project in the space?
Yeah, so obviously you guys thought of this concept because you guys saw problems that exist out in the real world with the traditional way of buying a home, right? Could you give us a quick rundown of the things that you guys believe that your processes is going to be better, and it's going to provide, I guess, an opportunity for the people that cannot afford housing currently?
Yeah, sure. Actually, this is a good one. Although I've chirped up, I think this is perfect for Tyson. So I'll leave it to him and cover any gaps that he might leave.
Yeah, now he turns over the mic. Now he does. No, I think the great thing about what we're doing here is that we're in no way right away trying to go and, flip people that have $1 million mortgages or anything like that. The overall starting goal to Owner's Unity is to help the people that are struggling. The ones that, as I kind of mentioned before, that with interest rates going up and everything else, or even before when interest rates were in the 3s, there were still a lot of people out there that were either struggling because of their credit score, or because the bank or mortgage company just didn't feel like they had enough, income that they brought in, or enough sustainability, or, had enough in the bank account to really, cover what they felt, what their, they sit down and all they do is they look at your credit score. They look at how much you have in the bank. They take a look at, what your monthly payments are, what all your other bills are that are going out. And then they just kind of go, no, that's not going to work. Even though in a lot of situations, you've been paying somewhere between, $600 to $1,000 a month in rent. You're not seeing any kind of return on that at all. Personally, basically you're throwing your money away to live somewhere. And you're not seeing kind of that same return as other people. And it's obviously an issue, especially if, something for that, $250,000 house that you want to get, you're going to be paying, a similar amount in mortgage to that. So I think the key thing that we're trying to fix is, bring a little humanity back to the whole effort. What we're going to do as a team is we're going to let the community decide, who we move forward with as far as, purchasing the house and doing stuff. But the key concept behind it is having an affordability check where we actually go in, we take a look at the person as a human being, not as, your credit score or, what bills you may have or what you were late on, stuff like that. But actually taking a look at the person of, okay, we see you're making, $800 payments a month. We see that you had a little bit of issue on the, from a hospital bill or something like that. I think Scott always talks about a friend of his or somebody knew that I think a parking ticket got delayed and, gets lost in the mail. And 2 years later, they come to you and say, you owe all this money. Plus we, dinged your credit report. And so what we're doing is we're providing an opportunity for someone to come in, put in a very minimal down payment compared to what you see in other places, and then to purchase a house that is going to do work for you. And so what we're doing is we're setting up we're going to have portfolios with the homes. So what is also going to happen, and we'll get to the tokenomics and everything else, but those payments won't just be going away. Those payments will be going into our outnomics, that we like to call them, where it's going to end up, basically producing revenue for you and for your house for this portfolio. I know a lot of us in the States are familiar with 401ks and health savings accounts. This is going to be an opportunity for some of these people. Not every job has a 401k attached to it, where they're going to have an opportunity to not only build, their own wealth and their own, income on what can be the largest, purchase of their lives, but also have that house work for them. And that's where the crypto side of it comes in, with the rewards-based token, with the ability to kind of have everything on a blockchain and work through where other people, the people that are investing into Owners Unity are truly becoming part of Owners Unity. They're holders, but they're almost also like stakeholders in the company. And then, we have our own purpose to bring in outside revenue. So it's not just, based on that. And I think one of the other advantages that this model has is that some people don't realize is that when you're with a mortgage company, oftentimes you have a conventional loan or an FHA loan or something like that, which puts you in a good position with a conventional loan. But with that comes a lot of other time, the bank has to, get an appraisal. The appraisal has to go through. All these things have to line up. And especially in a market right now where homes are going overvalued, sometimes you lose, and the people that you often lose to are people that are cash buyers. And that's one of the advantages that Owners Unity is going to have, is that when Owners Unity purchases the house for you to, with a lack of a better term, kind of rent to own, then we can purchase that in cash, which will put the buyer in a much better position to purchase that home, not be too overvalued, plus close in a quick 2 weeks, and kind of skip a lot of those steps and a lot of those hindrances that can kind of come within home purchasing.
Yeah, I think, what you mentioned there, affordable housing is a real problem in the United States, and you're correct 100%. As far as there's a lot of scrutiny, especially right now, with the bank. They look at the credit card, your credit history. You got to make a high deposit. You may have low credit score. So those are the things that prevent a lot of people from able to buy a home, even if they are able to afford a home a lot. Now, this is actually a real problem in the United States. I'm not sure where, in parts of the world, but this is actually a huge problem in the United States. And you guys have formulated a very amazing concept, actually, where you incentivize almost every single angle that every home can earn a passive income and that it can be passed on, right? And it cannot be sold separately from the property, which is crazy, which is actually a really cool concept. So with that, let's get into the pre-sale, since you guys are going through the pre-sale right now, right, Tyson?
Scott can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we just ended our last private round, and then we go the public pre-sale, correct? Here in a couple weeks, Scott?
Yeah, that's pretty much where we are.
Okay, sounds good. So with that said, I'd like to ask you guys, what did you guys raise in the private sale? And if there's any kind of seed sale, have you guys only had one round only? And what did you guys raise from that?
Yeah, we've had 2 rounds in total. We've raised just north of 250 B&B in total, which works really well for the concept that we have, because we don't want to leverage ourselves. We also don't want too big a whale in our organisation. So we do have people that have invested a reasonable amount, but we've capped it. And we've done that because we're looking to restructure the system in total. Because at the moment, it's basically just traditional real-world formats that have been transplanted onto the blockchain, which in our opinion is limiting crypto's ability to really impact the real world, which is what is hindering our ability to drive mass adoption, because there's no difference. You've got this amazing new concept that offers so many amazing opportunities to move us forward, so to take the next step. But all most people are doing, and it's not a bad thing, it's just the way that we operate. Most people are just transferring a traditional business format into crypto and not advancing the movement forward. So we have tried to do it differently. We have raised enough to do what we need to do. So we've got 2 revenue producing utilities that are already live. We've got more to announce, and that was also the reason for us being a hybrid product, was so that we're not dependent on your revenue or your investment to get the project off the ground with regards to purchasing properties, so to speak.
Yeah, sounds great. Now let's expand that further, since we're on the topic. So you said that you have 2 live utilities as of now. Could you expand on those? What those are, and how is that going there, Scott?
Yeah, sure. The first one we announced was CVP, which was just over a week ago. We announced CVP. Which is a full KYC transparency product, which is utilised for individuals through the through the projects. We also have Owners Utility, which is an energy brokerage, which is live as well. The energy brokerage is key. It's very important. What this allows us to do is to deal B2B with regards to signing contracts, but it also means that we can then onboard retail utility contracts, tie them to the portfolio that comes with the property, so that our clients don't have to pay for their gas and electricity, etc., which eases the burden on them financially. And that's the whole idea, is to redress the balance and just make it a bit fairer. Take the existing system that's out there and use it against itself.
Yeah, so looking at your website and your white paper, I do see your CVP, what you guys call that client verification protocol, which is a form of KYC process, right? But I do not see the energy brokerage program there that you guys are doing with business to business. Is that something that you guys will update the website, maybe including the white paper, so that way the investor can see very soon?
We aren't probably going to put them on there because we have designed them to be standalone products so that they generate revenue, but they also act independent. If we put all of the utilities that we have on the white paper, because we're going to be announcing one a week up until launch, and then we've got more coming after launch. We just put that we'll have multiple utilities. I think we say that in the white paper. But if once we've grown out, we're a hybrid product. So once we've grown out our ecosystem, you're going to have there's client content creation that's coming. We're doing CVP. As a real world product, which is coming out shortly. We have companies that are looking to utilize the real world CVP product. So if we put down everything that we're going to build out, it would just, there'd be pages and pages and pages. But it's in our roadmap that we're building utilities and we will update them. But you can go online now and type in ownersutility.com or vericheck.me, and it will take you to the sites of the two projects.
Another key aspect too is that we're gonna, kind of to tie even more into this too. We're developing a whole nother website also where that'll be front facing to buyers as well, and so that's going to be a location where they don't have to kind of familiarize themselves quite too much with crypto right at first with the white paper and everything like that. But, people that are interested in getting involved can go to that website, fill out, some paperwork and stuff like that, turn that in. We're also going to have some cross sections where other real estate agents throughout the world can send in their info and, send in the zip codes and stuff like that, the areas that they're in, to kind of partner with us and work that side. So when we talk about this as a company, it truly is a hybrid company that focuses on bringing in revenue to the company and then running it through that blockchain and running it through the crypto to obviously help the holders and the people of the token. So it's quite expansive.
Yeah, I think it's also good just to add that as a hybrid product, we are looking to drive mass adoption of crypto because that's what we all believe in. We believe crypto is the future. To do that, you can't scare people, and there's a lot of people out there, everyday person that is skeptical about crypto. So what we need to do is get them on board first, and then we educate them about how crypto benefits them in their everyday lives. So if you look at, for instance, the Owners Unity payment program, which is the property side of things, and also remember the properties, although the property side is the jewel in our crown, it's still only one revenue generating utility for our token holders. So although we have this goal to do this thing, if you then take a step back, it's a utility that drives revenue for you guys as token holders. So it's one of the revenue generating utilities that drives into the rewards for the token. But the way that we approach it is it's a traditional housing property business. We don't mention crypto to start with. We bring them on board, they pay fiat, They move in, they make their payments in fiat. We bring crypto in the portfolio, and then that portfolio, once we tie utilities, etc., to it, that alleviates, like I said, some of the pressure and burden on a lot of people's finances. So it's showing a positive aspect of crypto in their everyday lives. Then if you add that and combine that to the fact that it also adds the additional security in case, something happens, and then they don't have to have the fear of being evicted because the funds in the portfolio can be used to cover them if they become unemployed for a short period of time, if they have medical distress or something like that. You're then driving people towards realizing that crypto benefits them in everyday life, in things that truly impact them and benefit them. And that's what we're looking at as well to drive the adoption of the crypto moving forward. That's quite an important part of what we do. But if you step back, like I said, and strip it down, it's a utility of the project. And it's one that is designed to drive revenue to you guys as token holders.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's important. I think it's, you guys are very mindful of that. I think it's important that, like you guys said, you guys building another website or a system that even a regular person, real life person, don't necessarily have to know anything about crypto in order to use your platform, in order to benefit from, the ALA token or the Unity, Owners Unity program. I think that's important. Then slowly, like you say, you bring them on board and help with the mass adoption to the blockchain. That's the way it should be. That's the way the blockchain was intended for. And I think you guys are on something. I love the concept. Now, I do have a question. Now, regarding the ecosystem that you guys are building out with a lot of utilities, like you said, now, would this be under one company, which is Owners Unity, or would there be different entities?
Yeah, it's a good question. They're separate entities, and that's for two reasons. One is to give them the flexibility of movement and growth. Secondly is for transparency, because Lawgiver's on here as well, and he had a great idea which we're going to utilise moving forward. It won't be from day one because there's no point, but once they are of a reasonable size, every company that feeds into Owners Unity will have a DApp that will show the revenue generated and the income coming in from that business. So you'll be able to trace every aspect of each company. That's what the blockchain's for, obviously, for transparency. So it makes sense to utilize it. But every company is tied to each other. So it's like everything. Yes, Owners Unity is the parent company, but like CVP Global is a separate company. Owners Utility is a separate company, but CVP Global is one of the directors of Owners Utility. So the link is, they're not being kept separate as businesses in their entirety. They are tied and interlinked through the chain of command, so to speak. But for different requirements and different needs, it's good to have them as separate entities, and that's another way that we can help return more funds to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for that explanation. Awesome. Okay, now let's get back to the pre-sale. The pre-sale, you guys said it's going to be in 2 weeks from now. Where would the pre-sale be at?
It could be, it's between 2 and 4 weeks, but it's looking more likely to be pink sale, but that's not a guarantee. We haven't made a final decision yet. We'll see what we feel is best for the product and its longevity moving forward.
It sounds good. So 2 to 4 weeks. Now, Scott, do you have an estimated number that you guys are trying to reach as far as soft cap go and hard cap?
Yeah, the figures, we've got to update the white paper again, because the figures there were based on, because our initial plan was to raise the capital directly to look to purchase properties. But what we've done is we've structured it, especially because when we first started this idea in crypto, it's a very long-standing idea. But when we first started in crypto, the market was booming, and we thought, yeah, we could generate this revenue and do X, Y, and Z. But we spoke to, we had some great advice from other project directors who I can't mention, who said, when you purchase a farm, was the analogy, you don't usually purchase it with the crop ready to harvest. You normally have to plant the crop, nurture it, and then harvest it eventually. So we are looking literally for a coverage of the liquidity because we're ready to rock and roll. We've already got businesses up and running. So it's just pre-sales mainly to cover the liquidity pool to make sure that we function normally as a token. So we're looking at somewhere in the region of 750 BNB in total. That would be soft cap, or might even be hard cap actually.
Okay, so 750, around $225,000, and you said strictly for the LP only. Is that correct? If I heard you correctly?
Well, yeah, because we've the beauty of what we've done and what we've built out is we've basically got enough funds to do what we want to do, to build a solid basis where we're not solely reliant on buy-sell market pressure. We've built out 2 utilities that are live at the moment. We've got another, at least another 2, 3, 4. We've got between 2 and 4 other utilities, revenue generating utilities, that will go live prior to launch. So we already have revenue streams ready to rock and roll that will go towards purchasing properties. And just to put it into perspective, in the UK, your average energy brokerage salesperson has a monthly target of between £10,000 and £25,000 per month. Now, after covering all of the costs and overheads, you're looking at between £5,000 and £15,000 per month profit. Once you get to 8 people, that's between £40,000 and £120,000 per month revenue that you're generating just from that single stream. If you then put that into the tokenomics, you're looking at being able to purchase a property, every month. That's just one revenue stream, and that's basically a minimum. That's not taking into consideration that you'll have better months than that. So we've built out a system where revenue is generated and produced that then helps us to purchase the properties. So we're not, having to draw down from the current liquidity, and you guys are going to see, major dips in the token price. So that's something we've built in, and we think it's perfect to do that in a bear market, because then there's more upside for you guys as well. The buy-sell volume's going to be lower than it would be in a bull market, so there's more upside. So that's another reason for launching now.
Okay, perfect. All right, sounds good. Now let's get into the token metrics. So you look like you have 8% out, 8% in, and 14% out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's break those down. The 8% out. Could you speak on the 8% there, Scott? And what are those dedicated?
Yeah, sure. Because those figures are good. It gives you it's not too high. So it should generate, trade, because obviously you're looking at your day traders will be in there, but we're looking for longevity too. And it's about giving you guys rewards. Half of the rewards from the buy-sell tax goes to you. Then you've got the other ones, you know, marketing and development, affordable housing, liquidity pool, etc. Those figures are good because they're also outside of the rewards that go back to you guys. The other four figures are supplementary to what's being produced due to the secondary and tertiary autonomics. And obviously, as you grow, there'll be more revenue produced and more income brought in from those two. Yeah, this is the key, the secondary tokenomics, because the way we operate, which I think is important, is that we're just not being greedy. It's a really simple format, you know. Obviously, behind the scenes, the way that the tokenomics work is more complex because it's designed to reward everyone and not just one group of people. So in your traditional company, you know, they generate profits and they keep all the money themselves. All we're doing is saying, yeah, making a profit is good, but how about putting money back into the system? Because when you put money back into the system, it generates more revenue. It really is as simple a complex concept as that. So once the money comes in, we put it through. The only piece of our project that we've kept secret is our trading policy. That's the only thing. We've got fixed entrance points, fixed exit points. That's the only thing that we haven't laid out in paper. Obviously, it's our little secret sauce. But the secondary autonomics shows you how the profits are divided. So 35% goes back to the client. So if you imagine, just to keep it simple, client pays $500 a month. That $500 instantly goes against the value of the property. So that's bringing down the amount that's outstanding on the property. Then that traditionally, in traditional mortgage or rental spaces, that money's then dead. You see nothing else out of it. What we're doing then is utilising the money and also making it work for people as well. So the client then, out of the profit, gains an additional 35% that goes into the portfolio and also comes off the value of the property, reducing the amount of time it takes them to pay back the property. 5% goes to all holders because not everyone likes to stake and we believe everyone should get rewarded. 25% goes to affordable housing. I think it's very important to make it clear that affordable housing means different things in different countries. What we mean by affordable housing is literally houses that people can afford, not, you know, the projects or anything like that, just a house that is affordable to people on a decent income, or on any income, to be fair. Stakeholders speaks for itself. You know, if you stake your tokens, you get a bit more reward. And then you've got marketing and development, and you've got the owner's unity, which is to cover business costs, you know, cover the costs of the company and trading. If you then scroll down to tertiary autonomics, this is the other little bonus, so to speak, of what we do. It's the next one down. So in this, you've got two different formats. You've got tertiary autonomics and client. Like I said, we're not being greedy. So what we do is, say, for instance, out of the 20%, we only use, say it's $1,000. Owner's Unity gets $1,000 one month to cover all of the running costs, but it only takes $500 to cover that. We then reinvest the additional $500 to generate additional revenue, and out of that, the client gets an additional 15%, which goes to the portfolio and comes off the price of the property. 45%. Go on.
Scott, could I pause you for a second before we
Yes.
go on? I just want to make sure that everyone understands what you're explaining. You made a sample of $1,000. Where is this $1,000 coming from?
Well, no, the $1,000, the example I made was, so if in the secondary tokenomics, we've generated an amount of money and the owner's unity share there, the green share, is $1,000, but it only takes us $500 to cover the running costs of the company. We then reinvest the excess.
Right. So, sorry, Scott. I just want to make sure that the community really understand what you're explaining. So the secondary is the money that you guys get from the renters, right? And you guys reinvest that money. Is that correct?
That's part of it, but that's the beauty of Autonomics. If you we'll scroll down, if you scroll down a couple of pages, and we'll clarify this first. Yes, keep going. Keep coming down again. There, back up one. Back up one more, buddy. Just one more. That's the system. That's the beauty and the unique innovation that we've created. So if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see Owners Unity Ecosystem Additional Revenue. And then beneath that, you'll see the Real World Utility Additional Revenue. So basically, all of the profits that we generate through our products go into the secondary and tertiary autonomics. So it's not just the money. This is the beauty of it. It's not just the money from the clients that goes into the secondary and tertiary autonomics. It's also the revenue from CVP and from the other products, from the owner's utility. The profits go into the secondary and tertiary autonomics, which gives us the ability to generate greater income because we're taking the system as is and just using it against itself. So we're still making profit, but we're just not being greedy and keeping everything to ourselves and taking all of the money out of the system. We're putting it back into the system to generate additional revenue for everyone. So everyone gets a piece of the pie. Everyone has the chance for advancement. It's that simple. That's literally how simple it is. We need to re-educate people to understand that making money is good, but you can make money through lifting each other up rather than climbing over the backs of everyone to get there. That's what this system is designed to do. And that's the simplicity of it. No one loses because we use the system against itself to generate additional revenue through the traditional markets, and we take some of that out and give it back to everyone. So that's where that money comes from. It's from the client's funds, but also from the profits from the utilities. That's how we generate the revenue.
Perfect. All right. So now let's go back to the tokenomics, the allocation of the tokenomics, the taxes. Then I want to tie that back to the secondary and tertiary tokenomics that you guys have going on, because they're all connected together. Now, look at that, the 8% buy fee there, Scott. You have 1% towards affordable housing. What is that 1%? What does that mean by affordable housing? What would be utilized? What would you guys utilize that for?
Yeah, this is the beauty of the way the system works as well. Like, as you can see from the other system, and when you look at the tokenomics, this is a top up. So whilst 1% seems fractional now, as the company grows, that's going to be more revenue that's going in. But it's not the only revenue stream that's going into affordable housing. So it's just adding to it. Affordable housing, what that means for us is it's multifaceted. So we're looking at building out, properties where you have a decent home. So not everywhere has indoor plumbing, for instance, which is crazy. So we want to have a standardized property that we build out anywhere in the world so that everyone has a good standard of home. Because our ethos is everyone has the right to a good standard of home and everyone has the right to a good standard of living. But we're looking at, HMOs, they're called in England, but houses of multiple occupancy, sheltered accommodation. So for instance, if you just imagine, if you're building out sheltered accommodation and you implement our strategy, you tie that portfolio to that property, then you can use that portfolio to make sure that they have that staff that they need, so they can have, physiotherapists or psychiatrists and nurses in these places to give people the care they need to get people back on their feet. You can use it for mental health issues. You can use it for addiction. Vets are badly treated in just about every country. It's an absolute horrendous disgrace. We can utilize this system to do good as well. So we can build out these systems moving forward. And we'll obviously be building your traditional houses as well for everyday people to move into, to keep the stream going. But the aim over time, because this is a long-term generational project, is to offer everyone a quality opportunity to have a standard of living that raises the floor on how we perceive the living standards should be in specific places. So like everyone having hot and cold running water should be a given. You know what I mean? It's all of the resources in the world, and people still have to go outside and pee in a bucket and play, not having clean running water. That's just mental as far as I'm concerned. And this product and this project gives us the opportunity over time to work with other like-minded projects as well, because we've got a lot of partnerships that are on the go to actually, raise people's standards. Because once you tie a portfolio to the home as well and provide them with a passive income, it alleviates some of the additional burdens they have. And, if you put someone in a good property, it raises how they perceive themselves as well, if you give them the financial freedom to enhance their quality of living, that makes it better for everyone in that society. Because if you've got enough money to feed yourself, feed your kids, clothe, educate your family, you're not out stealing, are you? You're not out committing crime, which again is a situation. We're not going to get rid of all of these situations, don't get me wrong. It's just not physically possible. But what you can do is utilize a system like this just to try and make a difference in as many places as possible. So that's what we're going to do with the affordable housing aspect of it.
Okay, perfect. Now I just want to go ahead and just go through the whole numbers again for the community here. You got 8% buy fee, 4% USD rewards. So you just have to hold the tokens and you get the BUSD rewards. 1% is going to the LP, 1% towards buy back and burn. And looks like it's going to be manual buy back and burn that's being done every quarter, just based on, the chart. So I think that's a good way to do it. 1% go towards market development and 1% goes to affordable housing, which is an additional revenue on top of the outside revenue, real world revenue that will be using to redistribute to the token holders, the renters, and things like, and other for the renters through the secondary and tertiary tokenomics. The buy sell is 14% sales tax on that, 7% for the BUSD holders. So you get 7% just holding the tokens, 2% liquidity pool, and 2% buy back and burn, 1% towards marketing development, and 2% towards affordable housing. Now, like Scott said, the tax on the buy and sell for affordable housing, these are just additional revenue that will be using to purchase homes to rent out. But like Scott said, they do have other outside revenue that are coming in. Correct, Scott?
Yeah, that's correct. It's not just renting. It will obviously be for people to own properties as well.
Perfect. All right. So now let's go back into, Mike, could you scroll up to number 9? Actually, let's do number 8. Let's do number 8, ROO strategies overview. So Scott, looking at the number 8 here, now these are the strategies that you guys want to utilize the money to invest into cryptocurrency, because you guys believe that the ROI is much greater than real life investment or the stock market. Is that correct? And would you expand on the thought process behind this?
Yeah, sure. It's page 14, Mike, if that helps. Yeah, so what we've tried to do is also, we're very mindful, and we've taken all of our experience to build in as many fail-safes into our project as possible. So the first fail-safe is it being a hybrid combination, so that if there is low buy-sell volume, you're still generating passive revenue streams from the real world utilities. The additional safeguard in that is the type of utilities we've chosen. So your energy brokerage, you know, energy is a very robust market because everyone uses energy. So therefore, even in tight economic times like we're in now, there's still people, businesses utilizing utilities. So the revenue there is, you know, is pretty robust and continuous. Housing, there's always more demand than supply. So again, even in tough economic times, people are still looking for homes. So again, we've chosen these industries. We haven't just chosen them lightly. There are issues that need to be addressed, but also due to their robustness, it sort of guarantees a reasonable level of return for you guys as token holders. So everything we do in mind is with longevity and security. So with the strategies, the strategy one is our secret sauce. So that's the initial way that we generate the additional funds. So that would be the secondary autonomics. The two strategies here are the two portfolios, the two portfolio options that we have at the moment that we offer to the clients. You know, these will change over time as we grow and as we evolve. But at the moment, you have your traditional 50-50 structure. So you get your traditional stocks and shares, and you get obviously crypto. And strategy 3, the other option is just a pure crypto strategy. Those two are options that get tied to the property to generate revenue moving forward. The benefits of those obviously are, you know, if we start building out portfolios for properties now, where they're going to be in 12 to 15 years when people get to take ownership of the properties, you know, some of them won't be doing well. Obviously, you can't have 100% success, but by, you know, choosing Bitcoin top 5 in general, or, you know, top 5 and mid cap, you're offering a good chance of a reasonable long-term return for the people in situ in the properties. The reserve is obviously something that we've built in so that if there is any extreme volatility, then we've split the combined reserve 50-50 between gold and BTC, because whilst I believe crypto is the future, gold is a long-term traditional stable. So it just makes sense to not put all of your eggs in one basket from a business perspective, and to cover both entry points, so to speak. So there are additional securities that are in place. So we have additional funds in the case of any extreme emergency. And then the other two strategies is just showing how the breakdown of the tertiary autonomics goes for owner's unity and the client. And it just shows in general how it just feeds the system to add additional stability and security for the returns to you guys as investors, token holders, but also to showing how we reward the clients and how we offer them security moving forward. Because, you know, I'm sure Tyson will touch on this. Your house is one of the biggest investments that you make, you know, and it should be there to actually offer some form of peace and security to you. It shouldn't be something that you're worried about every day. So that's what we're trying to do: re-educate people out of the traditional way of seeing things and into a way of seeing things where your money works for you. It's not dead money, because that's what the current system wants you to do. It wants you to believe that you have to give your money over and they control the system. If we get a system like this off the ground, other organisations will hopefully follow, and when they do, that's when we start returning power back to you guys as clients, because there's not many aspects of what we do where all of the power is with the institutions. Usually it's you guys as clients. Where you go, how you buy is what influences the companies for their advertising, their marketing, etc., because they're trying to draw you in because they want your revenue. With mortgage lenders and properties, they all are pretty standard, and they say, oh, you can have this return or that return, but they're also like, you need to hit all of our hurdles before we will even entertain you having the chance to own a home and paying us back all this money for which you have worked incredibly hard for and get no recompense. So we're just trying to redress that and say, yeah, you can move into a property, you can pay a reasonable rate, we'll help you make that money work for you so it won't be dead money anymore, and we'll tie something to your property to make sure that you and your family are protected moving forward. Because yet again, this aspect of the project is generational. So if you imagine what kind of benefits your grandkids will get from having a portfolio tied to the property, I hate to think how early we are all to the game, where a lot of the projects are going to be in 10, 15 years. Like I said, some will be gone, but a lot of them will be generating some great revenue.
Yeah, 100%. I really love you guys' strategies and the way you guys have formulated a system where everybody benefits from the whole ecosystem. From the investor buying to the cryptocurrency, right? Whether it be USD, then you have a percent that is dedicated for affordable housing, which you guys will go out there and purchase homes to rent out. Then you have the renter who rent those homes. You guys take their money and you guys reinvest and kick it back to the renters, but also the investors as well. So everything is all tied in. Now, I get it. I dissect the whole white paper, and I definitely love how you guys formulate it. I'm not sure if an ordinary average person able to understand everything between your secondary to your tertiary tokenomics. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to figure out a way, because I love your concept. I'm afraid that it may need some more explanation all through the white paper so that your ordinary people can understand it easier.
Well, I think if you don't mind me popping in, I think it's important that we, when people do 401ks and health savings accounts, usually you just kind of give, okay, I'm going to give 6% of my paycheck in, and you guys invest it, however you want to, and hopefully it goes up with the market and stuff like that. So I as much as we are, really trying to, lead the way, with crypto adoption and everything else, there is, I'm not saying they won't need to know, but they may not want to know kind of fully that much. But I think also with kind of what, I've talked to Scott about a little bit too, is that, me on the agent side and for those agents that are going to be working with these clients as well, I think that, when we're doing these questionnaires for agents to let us know, what they know, how long they've worked, another piece of it's also going to be, how much do they have that crypto kind of knowledge? How much do they have the knowledge of the markets and stuff like that? Because I think it is going to be a little bit on, the people that we take on board too, to kind of help the client with that kind of understanding of what, their money's doing for them. And in the grand scheme of things too, this is, I hope you can feel kind of the passion that Scott has. What is it, 3 a.m. there now, Scott? At this early in the morning for this project, because it truly is, instead of the bank, taking your money and reinvesting it somewhere else or something like that, Owners Unity is taking that money and reinvesting it in that homeowner. They're reinvesting it in, the holders of the tokens, stuff like that. And so while, yes, it will be difficult for, those homeowners to understand what, where that money's coming from and stuff like that, there may be a lot of investors out there also, or homeowners that don't care as long as the money's going in there. But I do think that, this is how, we do that adoption. We talk about the portfolio with them, where the money's going. And with that case, that's where they'll have the opportunity to actually sit down with either the agent or with someone from Owners Unity and really break it. Oh, sorry if I lost you there for a second. Be able to break it down so they can truly see, how it all works. And that's where the education side in the crypto, where Owners Unity kind of brings that forward.
Yeah, and if I can just add, with regards to investors understanding this, we're actually in the process of putting together a set of explanatory 2-minute videos. So breaking it down into nice, simple bite sizes. So it'll be like, what is Autonomics? And it'll give you a breakdown of what Autonomics is. What is the Owners Unity payment plan? And it'll give you a breakdown of what that is in 2 minutes. Nice, simple pieces. But I don't want people to get, lost in the woods, because it's a simple format. It's complicated behind the scenes because it needs to be. But the basics of it is we build revenue generating utilities that put money back in the system. That's the basics of it. We put people in properties and we make sure their money isn't dead money. That's the basics of it. And also, Owners Unity payment plan is one utility in a multifaceted project that returns 7 passive income streams back to the investors. So whilst it is in depth, because it has to be, if someone came to you with this idea and only had a 2-page white paper, I would be concerned myself. But what you need to look at is, yes, the mechanics of how it works are, in essence, very simple and very basic, taking traditional methods and just using them against themselves. Rather than keeping all the profit ourselves, we reinvest a portion of the profit. This is it. If you look at that map there, that's how simple it is. We put everything back into the system, and then it generates rewards for you guys, and it generates quicker ownership and a portfolio for the people that are in the Owners Unity payment plan. And again, just to stress, this is only one utility out of multiple utilities that produce revenue that is returned to you guys as token holders as passive income.
Well, and Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just jumping in real quick. We're also going to have a site or a portal where homeowners or clients can basically visit, take a look at their portfolio, do a bunch of other things, which we haven't really discussed a whole lot, but a bunch of other things on also. So they'll be able to track and manage and take a look at all this stuff on their own as well, too.
That's the beauty of blockchain. It's 100% transparent.
Yeah, I love it, guys. I think you guys have formulated a very great concept. That's actually much needed and necessary in the real world. And you guys tied everything together, every angle. So I suggest everyone, if you guys are interested, really dissect the project, kind of see where the numbers coming from, and look at it and how it's literally incentivizing every person in the ecosystem. So I think it's very well formulated. Yeah, Scott, if you guys can pull a little video, I'd love for you guys to succeed. It's one of the projects I really want you guys to succeed. I'm afraid the BSC space, the investors, your pre-sale, I hope you guys are able to raise a lot of money, in order to, kind of propel the project in a quicker way, where you have the financial aspect of it to be able to buy some homes right off bat. But I think the barrier here is pretty much the the understand the knowledge of the project, for people to invest. That's just my opinion. I had to read it a few times on the white paper to dissect it, and I love it. Like I said, I love the project, man. So that's why I'm actually really excited to have you guys back here again. But yeah, that sounds perfect. Now, Scott, if you can break down for the people who are listening right now, let's compare your traditional mortgage payment. What are you looking at, like as far as monthly saving compared to the traditional system?
Yeah, if you go to page 18, Mike, it will give you a breakdown. That will do. That's superb. There's 2 pages on there, but just here, if you look at the top of this pages, everyone, you can see we've taken our numbers from existing business models. So the average monthly payment for your mortgage, this is just for 25 years. So it shows the figures there, and it gives you a breakdown of how those figures are. And it goes below. This one is for a 500% ROI, but if you go up a page, Mike, if you go up a page, then it's just a 200%. So it's a ×2. We've averaged out that the 500% is averaged out over 10 years. In those 10 years, we've taken into consideration that there should be 2 bull markets, and if you have a good investment strategy, you can make money in a bull or bear market. But we've got tight entrance and exit strategies, so there's no risk. We don't get carried away and go, oh, this is a massive green candle, so we'll stay in, and then by the time you try and get out, other people have taken out and you've lost money. So the way that we utilize our investment is rigid. But so, for instance, here you go. Example for one property. Client buys a house for $200,000. You can put dollars in there if you want. The fees at 10%. You've got your deposit of $11,000. The monthly payment is £697. It shows the client contribution in 1 year would be $19,000. Client reward. So through the basic 35%, it would be $677. Total paid back in a year, $26,000. Total paid following year, including reward. And then it shows that using that system, your repayments would end in 17.169 years, which is a reduction on the 25 years. So that would be 8 years. You've saved 8 years just using our method. But on our website as well, we've got a calculator. So you can go play around with different house prices. The amount of monthly payment you have can be variable as well. So you could, in the agreement, pay less. You could pay more. It's totally dependent on each individual's priorities and how quickly they want to clear that outstanding balance. So it is, it's just such a simple, straightforward way. You look at the traditional mortgage rates. You look how much people are paying rental, and there's no interest. That's the beauty, and that's what helps us keep the costs low, because we're not loaning and we're not providing mortgages. We're not tied by the FCA in the UK or the SEC. I'm assuming it is in America, or which other regulatory body there is, which then force you to have licenses which cost money, and then obviously they just drive the price up. I suppose another way to look at it is in the UK, they've just brought in, although you already have to have in the utility sector, you have to have a compliance section. They've just brought in an additional compliance section, which costs an extra £300 a year. It's the same with the financial industry. They just keep adding on these other certificates and these other licenses that you need, which just drive up the amount of money that then gets passed on to you, because the companies aren't going to pay it. They just pass the cost down to you guys. We don't have any of those, so we've got no hidden costs that we're trying to cover and pass down to you guys. Which is how we can keep it simple, straightforward, and make the payments as attractive as they are.
That is huge. No interest. So if anyone bought a home before, you're pretty much just paying for interest, right? Let's say you bought a home at 100,000. If you add that up for whatever your term is, 25 years, 30 years, it's a lot more than just 100,000. So what these guys are doing is pretty much just one price, and looks like they're charging 10% for administration costs only, but you have no interest. That alone itself is huge. And plus, on top of that, they use the money to, invest in and kick back to you as well. So this is actually a groundbreaking concept, if you ask me. Very well formulated. With that said, Scott, I think we have covered everything. Is there anything else you want to speak on?
Yeah, no, I just want to, say that the system is designed to be simple. It's key that we're not doing anything outside of what every country has as part of their regulations at the moment. Okay, if you can rent or you can buy a property, our system can work. Rupraj, who's our COO and will be in charge of our India operations, has already been in touch with the registrars over there, and they see no problem with our product. In some countries, it will be more difficult, but it's just everyone's educated to think that the complicated system that's in place is normal. So anything where we strip it back and return it to the base of how it should be, people can't get their heads around. They're trying to add additional complexity into it when it's not needed. That's the simplicity and the beauty of this product. If you can rent a home or buy a home in any country in the world, Owners Unity's system will work. And I also would urge you to remember that until we look to tackle these types of problems, crypto isn't going to gain mass adoption. It will always just be a part of fintech, because it will just be part of traditional markets, and everyone, most people won't see how crypto benefits them in their everyday life. So we need to be bold. We need to have the courage of our convictions and actually utilize crypto for what I believe it was intended for, which is to replace fiat, because fiat is a broken down system. This system keeps everyone's earnings and income alive, whereas the fiat is designed so that the institutions can strip your wealth away from you and keep it all to themselves. And you guys, all of us, are just struggling for the scraps that they drop off their table. We're looking to redress that in a very simple format. And finally, this is just one utility in a multitude of utilities that we have planned that drive revenue to you guys as investors. And I will finish with this. I will ask you all to consider all of the investments that you've made in crypto, all of the tokens that you've purchased and that you hold at the moment. How many of them offer you 7 passive revenue streams? 7 passive revenue streams, of which you have security against market fluctuation, because most of the revenue streams are generated external to the crypto market. That's what I'll leave you with.
Very well said there, Scott. I do have one last question for you. Now, when you guys launch, how many homes are you guys estimating, or you guys can afford to buy to start renting out?
It's dependent, it depends on how much revenue we bring in. But the other aspect is, because we've made it global, we had a pilot plan based on our main knowledge, which was the UK. So we had a pilot program that was based in the northeast of England. But we listened to our community. Our community is important to us. They helped us with the vesting schedule to update it. But they said, why can't it be global? And we're like, well, yeah, it can be. It just means it will take longer to put people in property. So from day one, first of all, we've got applicants. Once those applicants are approved, we then have to see which countries they're in, because if they're in countries that are outside of what our traditional knowledge base would be, we've then got to go through all of the regulations, make sure that our contracts are modified so that they're, legally binding and applicable. Then we can look at moving people into properties. We've also built out our product so that we generate the revenue ourselves for the property. So it could be, in the ideal world, it was going to be 3 to 6 months to move people into properties. With the way that we've structured, it could be 12 to 18 months before we put people in properties. But that's purely because we have taken this approach of not wanting leverage. We've got no VCs on board. This will be because we're trying to, if you, like I said, if you start on the premise of utilizing the traditional formula, then you've already corrupted the process of change, because there's leverage involved. Even if we say we're not passing additional costs on to you, we'll have to, because we're being charged for the revenue that we're bringing in. So our basis is to generate the revenue ourselves. So we start from a solid foundation of zero leverage, and then we can move forward on a basis of zero leverage, and we can get everyone out of the idea of not that leverage. If you own properties at the moment and you're leveraging your properties to purchase more properties, then that's fine. That's your thing. I'm not saying that that's wrong. What I'm saying is that someone has to pay the price for that. If we go back to 2008, 2009, a lot of people paid the price for leverage. So there's always, a trade-off. If there's no leverage, then there's no trade-off, and you have a solid foundation and everyone gets rewarded. And that's what we're trying to do. So in a perfect world, it would be 3 to 6 months that we would put people in properties. But being realistic with the market conditions, as they are globally, we'll be able to generate the revenue to have our own properties in 12 to 18 months, which is still a good time scale if you consider what's out there on the market at the moment.
Yeah, well said. Also, as you were speaking, so I'm just thinking out loud of which of the ways for you guys to market your amazing concept. Maybe your slogan could be rent to own with 0% interest. Bam. I think that would spark a lot of curiosity for sure. So I'm just thinking away because I love the concept, man. I really love the concept. I hope you guys succeed. So with that said, we're going to bring on Mike, and he's going to read off some of the questions from the community.
What's up, guys? Hey, Scott, Tyson. Appreciate you guys coming back. Go ahead, Scott.
It's like good to be here. So thanks for having us back.
100%. Always glad to see you guys. Before I get into some of these text questions, brother, I like to always ask the community if anybody wants to ask them on voice here. Please unmute yourself before I jump into these text questions.
Good morning from over here.
Morning, Cage.
I've sent a bunch of questions in the text, but there's one particular question I couldn't send it's a chained question, so I'll actually have to ask it here. So it goes thus. The project is an interesting one, but I need clarification about something that I read on the white paper. I couldn't get it from the white paper nor the website. The project, what you are offering, is it a leasing services? Are you selling physical properties to us as investors to live in? Or is it fractional property ownership, where we jointly own a portion of the property which you already own via tokens or NFTs? Or is it all of the above?
Hi, yeah, thanks for that. Good question. I'm not sure what the first part of what you said was, but from my understanding of your question, it's actually none of the above. So what you need to remember is this what we've been discussing is the crown jewel of what we consider our project to be. But if you take a step back and have a look at the project as a whole, all this is a single utility. We have multiple utilities that generate revenue that is provided back to you guys as passive income. So whilst it's designed to be revolutionary and groundbreaking and drive adoption, at its base, it's just a utility that will generate revenue for you guys as token holders, along with CVP, along with the energy brokerage, along with the other utilities that we have planned. So that's the way that we want people to look at it. We try to explain what we're trying to do because we think it's beneficial and it's good to get this out there because it will drive adoption. It will help a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it's just a utility that provides income for you guys as token holders.
I think I'll really have to read your white paper again. But part of this utility, let me reconfirm, is there anything that has to do with real estate properties among the utility?
No, yes, of course. But as a token holder, you technically are getting revenue, not just from the property side of it, but also from the energy brokerage side of it, also from the KYC side of it, also from the metaverse side of it, you know, from the gaming side of it. We've got a long plan that we have envisioned, and the roadmap is extensive, and all of that you will get rewards from. Although this is, like I said, the crown jewel, yes, of course, there's property involved, but it's a utility. The funds, the profits from the utility are then passed on to you guys as token holders. So that's the concept that I would love everyone to try and hold on to as well. It's not, you know, it's not a real estate investment trust. It's not fractional ownership of a property. Because we are putting people in the properties and then we are allowing them to gain ownership of the properties. All the way through that process, we are reinvesting the funds that belong to the company, and we're sharing those funds with you as token holders and with the clients. So, like I said, it's trying to get out of the traditional concept and understanding of how it works, and to have a different approach and understanding and educate people into this type of format where, you know, everyone receives a portion of benefit from the system. And that's what we are trying to do with crypto and with this product. So there is definitely property involved. The money that is generated to purchase the property is generated from the utilities itself. So your token, when you purchase the token, we're not then going to drain the liquidity pool to run off and buy properties. Okay, we are building out utility that generates revenue so that it's self-sustaining. That's the whole idea of this, is to be a hybrid transitional product where it generates the revenue from within the system, and rather than then taking the money out of the system, it redistributes it. So it's trying to get people to view it as is, and you know, broaden your understanding, because for as long as they keep us in the mindset that we're raised in, nothing is going to change. It's not going to improve, and we need to have a fresh look at the current financial status. The way to do that is by actually utilizing crypto and making it do what it's meant to do, which is make fiat obsolete.
Thank you very much. I actually realized now that I actually had a narrow point of view while reading the white paper. This is really bigger than what I thought. Though I have a suggestion. The way the website and the white paper is structured to make someone think it is a real estate marketing project. So our advice, probably at the top, you should at least state that there are other utilities, that just the real estate is just a part of the utility, because I didn't really see all the other things you mentioned. So it has actually, what you just said has negated the rest of my question. So thank you very much.
No, thanks for that suggestion. I think the reason we led off with this concept is because it's something that we're really, really passionate about, and we want to make a statement, and we want to get across that we're trying to do something that will actually impact the whole of the market and the whole of crypto by trying to drive adoption, trying to attack a real world approach. We have led with this. Yes, we have further down in the paperwork said that we have additional utilities, and that's something that we can address and change moving forward. So it's a great idea, and we will take that on board.
Thank you very much,
Scott,
and I wish you
can you
success.
hear me at all?
Yes, buddy.
Yeah. So I think that,
Hello, everyone.
I think you can agree
Can you hear
that,
me?
the initial or like the long-term vision is obviously the housing side. I mean, I think that in the first few months of Owners Unity, our main revenue is going to be coming from CVP and the power brokerage and stuff like that. But, long term, as, people go to the site and see what's there, eventually with the homes that we purchase and how we build it, I mean, that I think is, Scott and Sal's true vision when they, and all the guys, when they came up with this, was to, like they said, kind of be the next stepping stone, be the evolution of the space, and kind of evolving it with crypto. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea that, we discuss, and maybe on the front end of stuff, kind of look at the, other utilities as part of it. But that's also why we have the Owners Utility website as well. It's such, when someone invests in Owners Unity, it's not, you're not just investing in the CVP side, you're not just investing in the power broker side, you're not just investing in, the home ownership side or the other little secrets that we'll be dropping over the next few weeks, but you're investing in, the company as a whole. We truly are, trying to build this out as a company. You guys are all the ones that invest with us, and even the ones that, purchase after launch. You're investing in the company as Owners Unity for what it brings in as a whole, through all of its different pieces, through all of its different markets and everything else. And then you, the holders of the token, and the homeowners and everyone else, see kind of the fruits of that labor, of all the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes, and then get the rewards based upon all that. So
I think a good analogy, I'll just be very quick, a good analogy, especially in this space, is like if you're launching a rocket to the moon, for instance, you need the boosters to get it going, to get it out of orbit. The boosters in this case are your CVP, and they are your owners utility and the other utilities. That's what's going to get us off the ground and get us started. But once we have built out the property side and we start generating revenue, that's going to overtake anything that we could bring in from the other utilities. So, that's another way of looking at it, but it is a great suggestion and we will take that on board.
Good explanation there. Appreciate that question there, Cage. Stephens, did you have a question there, brother?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Stephens. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. I've sent 5 questions to the chat, and I also have 3 questions to ask here. Firstly, I didn't see any token allocated to the centralized exchange listing. Does it mean that there's no plan for CS listing in the future? Or is it that the team do not have plan for that at the moment?
Yeah, I can cover that. Sexes offer no real benefit to rewards tokens. You know, we've seen the debacle that happens with some of them where they get backhanders, but 90% of sexes, you know, although it looks good for the volume, you guys don't benefit because they don't pass on the rewards. So, you know, we'd rather go on DEXs first. Plus, because we're hybrid, we've got revenue being generated and coming into the system anyway. But it's a slowly catchy type of approach. As we grow, you know, I'm sure there'll be CEXs out there that take on board the full adoption of tokenomics, and when they do, of course we'll look at them, but at the moment we don't think CEXs are necessary.
Okay, very understandable. Okay, secondly, what type of bond mechanism and schedule will you be using for the 15% token bond?
What token bond?
No, I mean, what type of bond mechanism and schedule will you be using for the 15% token bond? Do you understand that?
Yeah, no. So, are you on about with regards to the property aspect, or?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
We don't have a bond, so I'm not sure where you saw that in the presentation. If you could just extrapolate a bit and explain where you see it as fitting in, then I'll understand.
Wait, what I meant is it a manual or automatic? That's what I meant.
Kind of lost me on that one there too, brother.
I think it's referring to the buyback and burn, and I believe that's going to be manually burned. Quarterly.
My bad. Sorry about that, buddy. Yeah, it's we're gonna have it manually because there's part of it in the tokenomics, but also, you know, as we generate revenue, if you notice, a percentage of the tokenomics keeps money in owner's unity due to the way that the tokenomics is structured. That money will then be utilised at different times, whether it's for manual buyback and burns, whether it's to, you know, add to the charity wallet that we have. There's so many different options, and what we're going to do is look to get the supply down to what we want it to be in as short a period of time as possible, but it will be manual.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, and finally, I was wondering if you guys will have a kind of a physical head office somewhere. Do you get that?
Yeah, no, sorry, say it again.
I said I was wondering if you guys will have a kind of physical head office somewhere.
A physical head office? Yeah, no, I get that. A physical head office?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have one in we have one in Poland at the moment. There'll be one in the UK. But as a global company, you know, we're trying to look outside of that, and we will have offices based in every continent. So we'll have a head office in North America. We'll have a head office in India, Australasia. But it's such a long way away till we get to the point that that's important. And we're trying to strip back from that, because we are trying to keep our costs to a minimum, because by keeping our costs to a minimum, we don't have to pass anything on to you guys, and that's more money to send back to you guys as rewards. You know, if we're all happy to work from a home office, do we really need a head office? You know, having people in, taking pictures, smiling, how does that benefit you as a token holder or a client in a property?
Okay. Thanks. That is awesome. Thanks for answering my questions.
No, you're welcome, bud. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, random. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, good. Good. Very nice project you have here. Okay. Quickly, my question. I'm pretty sure that there's still a large number of people out there that do not understand how the blockchain works. So, what strategy will you use to convince them that using your platform, your real estate platform, is faster, easier, and even and more reliable?
That is a great question as well, Bud. To start with, though, we won't need to do that because we will just have a traditional platform because we don't want to scare people away. You need to bring people on board using a traditional format. You have to be transitional. If you try to beat people over the head with crypto being the best thing since sliced bread, most people will avoid you like a plague, especially with the mainstream press coverage that crypto has had and will continue to get. So in the first instance, we just have a traditional property website that has no mention of crypto. It offers properties and it offers an owner's unity payment plan. Once they move in, they pay with fiat, they utilize fiat, they have no grasp of crypto. Some of them, some will, some won't. It will be absolutely standard. And that's when we bring them in with the portfolio and we attach things to the portfolio, and therefore their utilities and other aspects of their lives are made easier by having this crypto portfolio. You introduce people gently into the space, and then over time they get to take it as normal that this portfolio is there, that it's benefiting them, you know, and that's how you spread the word. You know, 25 years ago, most of us wouldn't have cared about smartphones because we didn't have them. Now, you know, people get withdrawals if you put your phone down for an hour, but they wasn't, you know, all over the place. It came in incrementally, and that's what we need to do. We need to bring people into the fold incrementally to make sure that it's sustainable growth. And that's what we plan to do. So we will get there in the long run with having the blockchain front and center. But at this stage of the process, we feel it would be more detrimental than beneficial to be out there, you know, saying we're the first blockchain property company, come with us.
Okay, very good. And also my last question, I am very sure that real estate is the main utility behind this project. So I want to know, what is the connection between the token and the real estate platform, and how will the real estate platform help sustain the token chart?
Yep, that's a great question as well. I suppose to start with, like I said, it is a mainstay, but it is still just a utility. And the idea of the utility is to generate revenue to provide you guys as token holders. So the way it will help to sustain the token charts is by generating volumes of income. And if you think about it, this is another concept I'd like you to think about. I touched on how, you know, the owners, utility and CVP are the boosters of the rocket, and, you know, owners unity, the property utility, OUPP, is the rocket, so to speak. If you think that the two or more lesser utilities are generating revenue from prior to launch, they're the ones that are keeping the token, you know, ticking over. As we grow as a company and we get more people on board and in these properties, and we do have a list of people waiting to utilize our product, I hasten to add. So if we had the revenue to put people in properties from day one, we could fill them from day one. So that side of it isn't an issue. Think how much revenue can be generated from a property business. Then look at how much revenue can be generated from a token with the current numbers in the crypto sphere. At some point, the rewards that come in from this utility will outweigh any rewards that you will get from the token. And we have a secondary market in place that we're looking at with regards to that aspect. So at some point in the future, people will be able to pay for their properties in Owners Unity token as well, which will obviously help drive the buy-sell volume, etc. So there are lots of ways that it will integrate with Owners Unity payment program moving forward. But at this point, it's just a straightforward revenue generator to add stability to the token and offer you guys additional passive income.
Okay, very nice one. And I have this last one. Sorry, I said I have the previous one was the last one, but I just want to know in case of any destruction in the properties that was rented, are you responsible for repairing the properties, or the is the person who rented it that will be repairing the property? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question too. It's not technically a rental, like I said, it is, but it's close enough. It's a unique system. I think that's an issue. But if you look at the traditional format, anything external that needs repair is up to us. It's like the same as anyone in a home. If you're in a home and you rip all of the sconces off the walls, then you have to replace them. That's that's traditional. But if half the roof falls off during the initial phase, that would be covered by us. So we'd have external liability. You have internal liability.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Great.
Appreciate that question. Don't worry. I appreciate those questions there, Random. I'm going to jump over to a couple of text questions here. First one from Blake here. Says, would you consider integrating NFTs that can serve as a determination of value for the real physical properties and assets?
We have a massive, extensive plan with regards to NFTs. We've got 2 NFT partnerships going, and where we're taking I don't know if lawgivers on here, but where we're going with NFTs, I can't wait for you guys.
Don't give away all the details, Scott.
I'm not going to give away anything. All I'll say is I cannot confirm or deny any existing plans that we have for NFTs, except to say we're already working on development of multiple ideas and formats, and some of them are going to revolutionize the space moving forward. That's as far as I'll go.
I think it's safe to say that there are definitely, places as far as, there's been discussion through real estate as houses being, basically transferred as NFT type, things on the blockchain. And I think it's safe to say that anything that can be, revolutionized within purchasing a house and managing a house and stuff like that we've already discussed, we've already, put plans in place for several ideas. And that's pretty much, I think, what Scott said. It's all being thought of. We appreciate all any kind of outside, ideas or anything like that from our community and your community, and it's definitely, NFTs are a great way to to structure paperwork and housing and stuff like that. And so it's definitely it's an exciting concept to kind of patch in with everything that we're doing, for sure.
Appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Next question I have for the community is a vesting question. How long is a vesting period, and what are those allocations?
Yeah, we had a different structure, which is in the white paper at the moment, but we're updating. We listened to the community, and it's 20% on listing, 20% a month until completion for everybody.
Okay. Next question here is from, I hope I say it right, Siki. I'm sorry if I messed that up. It's about the rent. Will we also be able to rent out the property? If so, does a tenant have to have a certain condition, such as providing a national ID or other personal data?
Yeah, it's not rent. I have to be clear about that. It is absolutely 100% not rent. We're not doing rent to buy. We're not doing lease to own. It is a unique product we have. Secondly, we're here to help the primary market to start with. So in the first instance, it will be people that can't get a property that we're looking to help. If you're looking to purchase a property to rent out for someone, then you've probably already got a home and you don't need our services as much as someone else. So we wouldn't entertain that at this moment in time.
That's understandable. Same person. Next question is: what type of ownership will the client have on the premise prior of his loan repayment?
Again, I think we've made it pretty clear. It's not a loan. It's not a mortgage. We're not lending any money. So, it's a moot question.
Well, and one of the things too that, I think Scott mentioned earlier on too, is that, the house is owned by owner's unity. The person who's trying to own it is making payments. If there was ever a time that, heaven forbid, something horrible happens, ownership of the home would be transferred to the buyer. So good for them. It's just another way of, addressing in the paperwork, making sure that, if anything were to happen to owner's unity for whatever reason, that we're not putting that home buyer into another horrible situation or a sticky situation, which frankly, they put their trust in us. And so there's no reason for, owner's unity to, not put that same, faith back into them that, if anything were to happen, that home and title and everything like that would transfer over to the buyer and the person who is, looking to make that home part of, their life.
Appreciate that there, Tyson. Yep, that's a good way to explain it there. I'm going to start a couple more questions here. I know it's getting late for everybody. So this one's from Shizu. Is how many houses would it roughly need to be attained for your project to become self-sustaining?
Yeah, it kind of is self-sustaining. Again, the homes aspect of it is just one utility in a portfolio of utilities that generate revenue, that provide passive income to you guys. Like I said, if you just take the energy brokerage, one brokerage, 8 salespeople, 40 to 120K a month. That goes into our tokenomics. That generates additional revenue. That's independent of the buy-sell volume or any pressures that are on the crypto market. Then you've got CVP, which is generating revenue, which is independent. You've got the real-life version of that. So although the property side is the jewel in our crown, it is still only one utility in a portfolio of utilities that generate revenue for you guys that feeds the income back to you.
All right. Sorry, I was just reading there another question. I'm sorry. You actually already answered that one. Let me get back here to the next one. Very well articulated tonight, so I actually got to skip quite a few of these. Let's see. Oh, that's another NFT. That's down the road. All right. There's another one from Siki. Hold on, little man. Will this only be for people needing to get into homes, or can it benefit people that are already in home but at risk of losing it because of rising prices and the change of income? And if someone is needing a new home, do they have a choice of where the home is, or where the home's predetermined based on price to save money?
Yeah, good question. No, you get to choose where you live. We're not going to dictate to you where you live. It can be utilised for people that are already in situ if they want to switch over to our system. So, yes, to the first part, and wherever you want to live to the second part.
Perfect. Next question here is about staking. Is it flexible or is it locked? If it is locked, can I withdraw early in the case of emergency? And is there any fees that will be incurred for an early withdrawal?
It's a variable APY. We're kind of looking at a hybrid version. So, you can have 3 short lock-in periods. We haven't even considered penalties for logging and unlogging. But then if we have one that's just open with no penalties, it'll have a lower APY, obviously, than if you lock your tokens in. And if you lock your tokens in, then there will be obviously a penalty for withdrawing early. Otherwise, there's no point having a lock-in period. So we're looking at a hybrid option between the two.
Hybrid option, okay. I'll grab one more from the community here, brother. Let's see. I'll grab it from Stephens here. Wants to know about the anti-dump mechanism that he's reading. How does that mechanism work, and how is it tied into the contract?
It's if you were to look at our contract on GitHub, it would show you that it's actually built into the contract. So, for instance, if you only have 5,000 tokens, you can sell them all because it's literally 0.02% of the overall supply of tokens, because it's only meant to, stop whales from trying to manipulate the price. There's also a time lock. So after you've sold the 0.02%, then you can't make another sale for at least an hour. So that's also put in there so that we can safeguard the community and make sure there's no nefarious activities.
I like that. All right, Scott. Well, those are all the questions I'm going to grab for the community tonight. Guys, if I missed anything, or if you still like to come to your questions answered, I urge you guys to head on over to Owners Unity Telegram. Be sure to ask those questions. The team will be sure to get them answered. With that, appreciate Scott and Tyson coming out tonight. I'm going to kick it back to Seattle.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Tyson. Very well presented, brother. So, before the pre-sale, I would love to have you guys back again. If not, we'll pin your pre-sale, so that way the community knows when your pre-sale is. Again, I love the concept. And one of the projects that I really like to see to succeed. You guys got my support on this one. With that said, Scott, we usually like to send people to your room to raise awareness to your Telegram by saying "Great AMA at USA Crypto Group." Is that something that you want us to do?
Sure, buddy. Of course, and we will come back for pre-sale.
Yeah. If not, let us know, and we'll pin it. We'll pin it for sure. All right. So with that said, if you guys don't have the last word for us, Mike is gonna go ahead and do the cash prize drawing for the attendance and also the best questions. And Scott, I know that it's very late for you, so you don't have to stick around.
Right. Yeah. No, I will sign off then. Thanks very much for your time, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Scott. Take care. I hope to see you back soon. Thanks, Tyson, as well.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Really great talking with you guys again.
It was. All right, guys, you know what time it is. Giveaway time. Like Seattle said, $25 will be given away on the wheel tonight. Seattle has been gunning for this for a long time. Without further ado, let's shuffle it up. Grab our one winner off the wheel. Oh, that was a good night. That was a good AMA tonight, for sure. Oh, look at that. Isabel. Isabel finally won. Congratulations. All right, guys. That's it for the wheel. I will have...
Is that the Sophia, Isabel?
It is. Congratulations.
Wow.
Oh, there she is in chat. Yay. You earned it. You've earned it for sure. That was a good win. So, all right, guys, that's it for the wheel. I will also be giving away $25 to the best question. I'll be sifting through who asked on voice here, as well as all these text questions. There was quite a few. Let me go through them all. And like Seattle mentioned earlier, we're also going to give another $25 to another person who heads on over to Owners Unity's Telegram, says great AMA at USA Crypto Group. I'm sure Johnny is on that right now, putting that in the main chat. And that's it from us. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one.